Right, this is a classic Anglo Indian dish. It's called fried meat, pepper water, rice, poppadums and Bombay duck. Now I'm going to do this in the ramoska, but the recipe below will be just for normal cooking. Right, so what I've done is I've chopped 2 onions and I've got them frying at the moment in the ramoska tria. What I've done here is this organic beef. You don't have to use organic beef. I got it reduced anyway. And I've cut them a bit smaller. I don't like a big huge lumps like that. I like a much smaller, about that sort of size there. The other ingredients is tomato purée, madras curry paste, which is a good way of doing things at speed, chili powder, turmeric, and in there is 3 chillies, but the recipe is actually 2. I like 3. And then there's about 3 or 4 pods of garlic and about 2 inches of ginger. And all those are going to be chopped. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, they're all going to be chopped, so I'll do that now. I'll just show you. So it's garlic, ginger and chillies. I've added an extra chilli other than the recipe below. That's done. And as I said, that's the meat. I'll show you the onions cooking over here. That's in the ramoska tria. Just started. Now, as I say in many of my recipes cooking curries, with Indian curries, not so much Chinese one, but Indian ones, you must get the the onions light brown. Then you add your whole spices, and then you fry to dark brown. And there's the onions. It's light brown. Now remember, this is fried meat, pepper water, rice, poppadums and Bombay duck. This classic Anglo Indian dish. All done in the ramoska. Well, most of it will be done in the ramoska because the Dahl, I haven't decided whether to do that in there. It's such a bee ache in the ramoska because it takes such a long time to get up to a frying temperature for onions. So I might not do that, but that's in the standard. You see, the tria is too big. The answer to this, if they made a ramoska standard like the tria, so a tria in a smaller size, cracked it. They would have cracked it. Anyway, there's the light brown onions there. And now what I'm going to do, I've got the whole spices now, as you can see. That's garlic, ginger, chilli. Throw that in. I reduced the temperature for which I started with the onions. The onions I was frying that quite high. I reduced it for the garlic and ginger because I don't want the ginger and garlic burning. In a steel pot, of course, you can always add a little bit of water to stop the sticking. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Sticking doesn't really matter because that's right, it's not burning, of course, because you can, once you put a bit of water in it, or cooking water, it'll all come off the bottom and it will add to the flavour. Right. That's now in there, and now I'm going to do that. Fry that now to a dark brown. Right. You can see there now that it's darker brown. Wouldn't matter if it's slightly more darker than that, but I wouldn't leave it much lighter than that. So basically, if you leave it too light, it'll taste sweet, the onions, and it will make a light coloured gravy. And you don't want that. Now, the chilli powder recipe, in the recipe down below, I put small chilli powder, but the truth of the matter is, in this day and age, you should have more than that. At least 1 teaspoon, I'd suggest. The palates have changed, so people can take more hot food. And of course, different chilli powder varies in temperature, so check yours. And then turmeric, heaped teaspoon, not heaped teaspoon, level teaspoon, turmeric. And then 2 teaspoons of curry paste, I'm going to suggest. 1, 2. Now you're going to have to add water to this later. So rather than waste what's on the spoon, I'll put it in the water I'm going to add later on. Also, when you come to the end of these things, you know, add the water out of that. I'll give that a stir. Stir, get it all mixed through. The next thing is 2 tablespoons of tomato purée. That's 1 and 2. Most recipes they only have 1. It's quite unusual in 2. Anyway, that's also going to be added to the water because that's going to be added in a minute. Right, add that through. Now it's the turn of the meat. I'm using one of these things which are great. Great for everything, these. Any chopped onions, chopped garlic, throwing waste in the bin. Give it a stir around. Get the spices. There's no real need. There's no need to actually brown these. I suppose aficionados will. The point being is really that they're going to be cooked in water. The juices are going to stay in the pot, so it'll be just quite nice. Now the only thing is that needs to be added this time. I've just threw rock salt. I don't know why I had rock salt crystals. Must have made a mistake. Anyway, I prefer sea salt crystals. And now I need to add salt for the cooking. I'd suggest a teaspoon or to taste. Now I'm adding water. Get rid of the stuff that was left there before. Now you need the water just to cover the meat. You can always, if you've got too much water, you can always reduce it later at the end. That's bare minimum. That I'm going to add a bit more. That's it. So about 3/4 of a pint. About 3/4 of a pint. And I'm going to put that now, bring it up to the boil, and then simmer. Which lid to use for the Ramoska? Well, I'm going to use the normal cooking lid. Although I think the pressure one would do just as well. All right, there we go. That's on now. Now I'm going to say about, once it reaches simmering, about 40 minutes. But as it's you, I'm going to have another go at the Dahl in the 1 pot Ramoska standard. Well, let's turn to the fried meat, in fact fried beef. I don't know why they call it that. Now that's got 5 more minutes to go for the timer, which is 45 minutes. That's I think imagine it's all cooked now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it to finish its time, 45 minutes. Then I'll take the lid off and reduce the liquid a little bit. Right, it's a 45-minute cook. I'm going to leave the top off about 10 minutes, reduce it a little bit. That will get to a lesser simmer in a minute because the lid's off. Right, that's it simmering now to reduce some of the liquid. But there's that, I don't know if you see, it's the pepper water I made yesterday. It's pepper water, fried meat, fried pepper rice. There's the rice I've already cooked. And here's the dal, which of course we're still waiting for the onions to fry. It looks like it's frying now. So that's taken nearly half an hour to fry. Now this is Bombay duck, which is dried fish. I've soaked it in water. Now normally I wouldn't do that. It was only because I'm watching a Rick Stein movie in which they did it in India, and I thought, well, perhaps I should do that. But I'm not altogether convinced. I reckon that's going to splatter everywhere. But anyway, we'll give it a try. If you don't try it, it won't work. I've got a frying pan there warming up. That's the Bombay duck I showed you. I'm going to, it's me and the wife, I'm going to do 3 papadums, which is 1.5 each. Oh, the light's flashing there. Yeah. Anyway, right. So we'll see how that goes. Now the idea when you're doing papadums is you've got to move it fairly quickly, and I don't know why it's doing that. You'll do it very quickly and get it out there soon. So let's just test the thing now. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That, to me, that's hot enough. So there we go. In it goes. Turn it over. It's not very good, that one. I mean, that's it. It's cooked. Put another one in. That's better. That's better. Now I'm going to turn the heat down on this. For the fish, I think it might be too hot to have it scalding hot like that. So let me get that colder. Now I'll do the fish once it's cooled down in the oil. This is a bit dodgy, this, so let's try this. Once it's done so it's crispy, and what you do is you break it on top of the fish, on top of the rice. It also stinks highly. Really is a massive pong. And we'll see how that goes. Oh, you fry it in, but it gets crispy. This is now fried meat, pepper water and rice. Corrie's hungry, so she can't wait for the filming. There's the fried meat, there's pepper water, there's dal. The rice is in her hand, it's now been served. And over there in the corner is papadums and Bombay duck. And Bombay duck's not a duck, it's a fish.